This old guy DIY video has to do with replacing the oxygen sensor on a 2003 Chevy Tahoe with 190,000 miles on it. And when you replace the oxygen sensor and the threads look like this, there's a good indication that you're going to have to chase the threads in the pipe itself before you can install a new one. So I tried to feed this one in by hand. There was no chance. So I went to my local AutoZone and I got this little thread chaser for 10 bucks. And in the course of taking this old one off, my process is to cut the wires, and then I take a box end wrench, break this off so I can put my 22mm socket right over the top and get the thing off. So you see I was able to engage the socket, and then the threads were totally shot. And before I could even break it loose with this thing, I had to go to the hot wrench and let it sit for 2 minutes. So now I have everything apart, and in the course of trying to disassemble it, I used this little kit from AutoZone, and these things actually just hopped around the outside edges with that break in the steel. It just didn't have enough ass to do what it needed to do, so I had to go to the regular socket. So right now I'm going to crawl under there. I'm going to chase the threads and see if I can install this one by hand. So I was unsuccessful with the thread chaser, and next I went to Amazon and I bought an M18 by 1.5 tap. So that's high-speed steel and it's hard. And with this I was able to get in there and cut enough of a thread that I could engage the oxygen sensor, and I'll show you a picture of that in just a moment. But I got the oxygen sensor threaded in, and then as I was turning it with my 22mm wrench, it felt kind of soft, like I was stripping the threads out. So I stopped right there and I went and got some of this JB Weld Extreme Heat. And now that I have good engagement between the oxygen sensor and the exhaust pipe bung, I'm going to mix up some of this Extreme Heat and put it around the outside of the oxygen sensor, leave it sit overnight, and plug the oxygen sensor in and see if we're in business tomorrow. The instructions say to open the product and thoroughly mix. So I don't know if this is intended to be a single use, one-time $12 deal, but I have a piece of shim here that I cut to be my mixing stick. I'll go ahead and mix this stuff up and start using it. So I mix the thing up until there's no variation in color, and it's the consistency of not so thick peanut butter. So I'll crawl under the truck and see what I can make happen now. Now this is what the installed sensor looks like before my JB Weld peanut butter application. The directions said to apply liberally, so I put on a rubber glove from a TSA starter kit and I smeared that stuff around. First I started using the stick, and then I was just using my finger trying to get better coverage. You can see I smeared some on the pipe, and it's not a precision job by any means, but based on what I read, the goal here is just to keep air from intruding, because I didn't have as tight of a connection between the sensor and the bung as I would have hoped for. So I'm going to leave this thing sit overnight, and I'll take a picture in the morning and we'll go from there. This is what it looks like after the JB high temp is set up. And then over here I put a zip tie around that ear in the casting just to hold the wire out of the way of this front drive shaft, since I can't reach up in there and get 8 inches high where the plug was initially stuck in. But I think we've got a good solid connection, and we'll put this truck back together and put it on the road. I hope you have a great day.